see the rest of the group disappear over the western horizon.
What was the weather?
The weather was bright and cloudless.
Visibility good?
The visibility was excellent.
How does this film you shot compare with what you saw with your naked eye? You have studied the film.
Yes, I've studied it. I'm very disappointed. The film falls far short of showing what I saw with the naked eye, due to the delay in getting the camera started and my error in exposure. If I'd had this camera in the seat beside me, loaded and ready to go, there'd be no need for questions. The Air Force would have the answer.
What is your full name, please?
Delbert Clement Newhouse.
And you are on active duty with the Navy?
Yes, sir, I am.
What is your official Navy rank?
My title is Chief Photographer. I'm a commissioned warrant officer, United States Navy.
How long have you been in the service?
21 years.
Now, is there anything you can add to the description of these objects?
They had a bright silvery color.
Can you describe some particular detail?
They had a metallic appearance. They seemed to be made of some kind of polished metal.
The Newhouse film, as I told you, is presently under analysis. Sergeant, would you get me the Fargo case? The Fargo sighting was October 1st, 1948. A National Guard lieutenant, thank you, a National Guard lieutenant was about to land his F-51 at Fargo Airport.
Captain Ruppelt gave me the details from the record. The pilot, after a routine patrol flight, was cleared by the tower to land when he asked,
"Anything in the way?"
"There's a Piper Cub below you. Nothing else in the air."
I see the Piper Cub. I see another light about 1,000 yards ahead of me. It looks like the tail light of a plane.
I can see you, but I can't see the light you're observing.
the pilot told the tower he could see it and was going to close in and try to make identification.
I can see it clearly now. A small white light. It keeps blinking on and off.
As he approached it, the blinking light became clear and steady. Suddenly, it pulled into a sharp left bank.
I think this thing is going to make a pass on the tower.
I see it now. I see it.
The pilot dived on the light, and although he brought his manifold pressure up to 60 inches, he reported,
I can't seem to catch up with the thing. It's gaining altitude and has just made an impossible turn. A 90-degree turn to the left.
You're right. It's gaining altitude on you. And it's still in a very tight left turn.
By that time, they were at 7,000 feet, when, suddenly, the light made a 90-degree right turn.
It's headed straight at me.
The light passed directly over your canopy at, I estimate, about 500 feet.
The object suddenly shot straight into the air. The pilot followed it to 14,000 feet when his plane went into a power stall. The object disappeared. The chase had lasted approximately 27 minutes.
The officer in the tower was the airport traffic controller. The lieutenant was an instructor for the French during the Second World War. He said he was sure there was an intelligence behind the movements of the lights. He stated, too, that no earthborn pilot could have withstood the G-factor inherent in the object's turns and speed without blacking out.
Was there radar at the field?
No, there wasn't.
Too bad. Radar would have made it airtight.
Not necessarily.
I thought a radar return was indisputable evidence.
No, it isn't.
Are you a radar expert?
No, I'm not, but I have one on tap. Give me extension 361. We have a team of 3 radar analysts here in Air Phenomenon Branch. I want to talk to Wynn Swanson. All radar reports received here pass through this radar analysis division. Swanson? I have a man here from the Pentagon. He's cleared. Wants to know about radar. Okay. The field's socked in solid with fog, but he'll take you over to GCA. This is ground control approach. With zero visibility, GCA picks up the aircraft coming in, and by means of the pips on their scope, can talk them into a landing. Now, this scope here gives the aircraft in the area.
This scope here tells you whether you're to the right or the left of the landing strip, and that one there tells you whether you're too high or too low. Now, the next scope is the same as this one, except that it gives you more accuracy.
Patterson, GCA. This is Air Force 2162, past Fairfield, fan marker inbound. Request landing instructions.
There you can see him on the screen. And you can track him all the way in. He's flying blind.
Steer right to heading 20 degrees and begin descent to 1,500 feet.
This is Air Force 162, steering 20 degrees, descending to 1,500. Over.
Air Force 162, the weather at Patterson Field is 100 feet ragged ceiling. Visibility 1/2 mile. Light rain. Wind southwest 6. Altimeter 998.
If you can see it on radar, there can be no question about misinterpretation.
In this case, no. These are good, solid blips.
This is Air Force 162. Roger on the weather and runway. Over.
Air Force 162, steer left to heading 35, turning downwind leg. Range 8 miles south. Over.
This is Air Force 162, steering 35. Over.
Sometimes the temperature inversion will cause trouble. Ionized clouds or equipment malfunction will cause false blips.
Can you tell a false blip from one made by aircraft?
Yes, any experienced operator can tell in a minute or so.
Air Force 162, steer left to heading 215. This will put you on final approach.
This is Air Force 162. Roger. Steering 215. Over.
Air Force 162, this is your final director. How do you read me? Over.
This is Air Force 162. You are loud and clear. Over.
Air Force 162, roger. Your range is 7 miles. Slow aircraft to descending speed. Make final flap setting. Maintain altitude of 1,200. Heading 215. Do not acknowledge any further transmission unless unable to comply. If you do not hear GCA for any 5-second interval, climb to 1,000 feet on a heading of 125 and contact approach control. Steer right to heading 210, range 5 miles. You are now approaching glide path. Start normal rate of descent at 600 feet per minute. Entry to glide path good. Steer left to heading 212, range 4 miles. Go above glide path 10, 15, 25 feet high. Increase your rate of descent slightly. Heading 212. Holding you on the center line. Holding 2 feet high on glide path. Check that descent. Steer right to heading of 213. Range now 3 miles. Holding glide path very well. Go below glide path 10, 20, 30 feet. Level off slightly. Steer right to heading 214. Coming back nicely to glide path. 25, 20, 15 feet low. Heading 214 had you lined up with the center line. Range 2 miles. Holding 15 feet low on glide path. Bring it up slightly. 10, 5. Now on glide path. Range 1.5 miles. Heading 214 on glide path. Steer left to heading 213 over the end of runway on center line. On glide path as you approach point of touchdown. Touchdown in 3 seconds. If you cannot see the runway, pull up and climb to 1,000 feet, heading 125.